listening to Real Estate Radio on AM 830 KLAA. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Ron Siegel.
Good morning, Southern California. Welcome to Ron Siegel's Real Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. Real Talk is a show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, and even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the most important hour of radio on AM 830, and thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice, and that's my message, and I deliver it every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. right here on KLAA AM 830 in association with ESPN. And we have a great show planned for today. We're going to talk about Friday's roller coaster and where interest rates are going from here. The federal courts will help you strip in a good way, and what is happening in Southern California real estate. But before we get started, please join me in welcoming our co-hosts this morning, John Greifendorff and Christine Wilton from the Greifendorff Law Offices. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And our featured guest this morning, Melinda Johnson from Freedom First Properties. Good morning, Melinda.
Good morning, Ron.
All are what we call it the Real Estate Radio Network repeat offenders. They've all been on Real Talk with us in the past. I'm glad to have you. Melinda was actually on the first show I ever did, and I think that my tongue was tied most of the time. My nerves were shot. And hopefully we'll be able to give you a little bit better information today than back at the first time. But we're still discussing the fun that I love a lot here. We know about broadcasting live from Angel Stadium. I get to talk a little bit about sports before we get started. And my favorite team, again, doing really well this past week. USC beat Arizona. Yahoo! And then there was that Notre Dame game. You know, I always tell people that my three favorite teams, USC obviously being my favorite, my second is anybody that's playing Notre Dame, and my third is anybody that's playing UCLA. So Notre Dame yesterday, that was kind of an interesting one, and I kind of like the idea of what happened with the Notre Dame game. Notre Dame won 28-3. But the thing that was most exciting about that to me was I like the idea of having sports won on a field. And I think BCS is going to change. If they listen to me, what they would do is they would change their sponsorship. And I think it should be the BCS Bowl sponsored by Xbox. Because if you can win on the computer, why not? I mean, you don't have to play the game.
It's good practice.
It's good practice, exactly. And then UCLA, I've got some great news for our friends over at the junior college in Los Angeles. UCLA did not lose this weekend. They didn't play. So a real quick reminder of my goals of the show is, number one, to help build the housing market by teaching you the opportunities of this marketplace. And there's opportunities all over. It's just a matter of finding them.
More money, more money, more money.
To protect you. The big banks, the media, the salesmen. This is the place where you can get information you need to make educated decisions. 3, to enhance your lifestyle. We'll let the rest of the media sell negativity. We're in here to have fun. You can probably tell that. And celebrate life in the great Southern California. And 4th, this is your show. I'm the host, so if there's a topic you want us to discuss, please reach out to me, Ron at realestatewithron.com, and we will make sure to get that information to you. Again, let me remind you that if you ever have any real estate or finance-related questions, you're looking to buy, sell, refinance your real estate, credit report issues, debts, reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. And again, that's not going to bring you into the show. It's going to bring you to our off-hour number, and it's not going to get you to an assistant. It's going to come right to me where I can help you deal with your financial plans. So again, give us a call anytime or save that number into your phones. And today we've got a ton of great information for you. You can pick up copies of the information we're talking about. I try and post them sometime mid-morning on our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Real Estate Radio with Ron. Don't put the spaces in there, and you'll find us real easy. You can like the button, get information throughout the week from us. Or again, you can go to realestateradiowithron.com and connect with us there. So we've got a lot of information going on this week, and we were talking about in the markets, and we were just chatting earlier about what's gone on the last few days in interest rates. It's been crazy, and a lot of it has to do with all of the geopolitical stuff. And we can all look and see what the markets are doing. And Melinda and I were talking before we came on air about the housing market and these people that want to wait till the spring. And it's kind of interesting, waiting till the spring. I just listened to a great educator of realtors. He's based out of New York. His name is Steve Harney, kcmblog.com if you want to look at some of his stuff. But his comment is that if you wait till the spring, you can, but if you're selling, you're not going to get as much house. You're not going to get as much for your house then.
And I would have to say, Ron, that what I'm seeing out there right now in the entry-level housing price point is there's a lot of demand out there. And if people want an opportunity to sell their house right now, November and December may be an excellent time to put their house on the market. They're not going to be competing with as much inventory, and they can take advantage of that demand that's out there right now. Absolutely.
We were talking also about all the media. Again, these are the media commentaries about all of this robo-signing, and I think that was kind of an interesting commentary. People were talking about these robo-signers and what that's done to us. And I can tell you exactly what the media should be thinking about when they keep publicizing robo-signing. Get rid of the robo-signing conversation. It just scares people. There's been the information I got recently was there were some mistakes made, and Christine and I talked about the fact that the robo-signers were going through, how many did you say, documents a week or day? Or
on average, 5,000 to 10,000 a month. 5,000 to
10,000 documents they're signing a month. They can't possibly read all those, but out of all of that stuff, yeah, they don't. But I've heard the number I've heard now that where there were significant errors or mistakes done was, I think, 3. So, we're kind of just scaring people without a real good cause for scaring them. So, as Melinda is saying, we've kind of pushed that inventory. According to S&P, there's 41 months worth of inventory that the banks already have owned, that they're going to have to get rid of at some time. So the robo-signing has really just pushed that back, and as Melinda was just sharing, if you really want to sell your property, now's the time to do it. Now, banks are not in the business of losing money. Look at their earnings reports all the time. They don't lose money. They keep making it, find new ways to make money. So they're not going to give those properties that they have in their inventory away.
Well, the robo-signing would only come into play if they wanted to keep their home.
Okay.
Really wouldn't have an impact upon selling, short selling, any other aspect of moving the property to another buyer.
So the bottom line is, if you really want to sell your property now and not compete with the bank, now's exactly what Melinda's saying, is now's the time to do it. Make the decision. And we're going to get into that a little bit more, but we're also looking at what's going on in the markets on Friday alone. We talked last week that the government made the decision that they were going to start with this QE2, quantitative easing 2, and I don't want to get into all that information because it's boring. But basically what they said is they're going to buy $600 billion worth of bonds. And they're going to do it at the rate of $75 billion a month. Well, what ended up happening on Friday is they decided they're going to start with last Friday's week's buys. And if you take $75 billion divided by 4, you're going to come out with about $18 billion a week they should be buying. Well, they bought between $6 and $8 billion. And it just had a dramatic effect on interest rates. And we saw nine interest rate changes in the market last Friday alone.
Wow. And what do you typically see in terms of interest rate changes?
Typically, we'll see about 3 changes a day.
Wow.
So Friday we saw 9, and not one of them was really a good change. So we saw the rates going in the wrong direction most of the day on Friday, and that's really what we're going to be looking at, because we're dealing again with the politics instead of letting the free markets determine these things. So when we don't know exactly what they're going to do, the clarity becomes muddied, and people just don't know where we're going. So the market really did take some crazy changes, and that's why I'm telling people, If you've got a 5 or a 6 in your interest rates and you've got any equity, you really need to be getting a hold of a mortgage professional now, because you're not going to know when it's too late until it already is. I had folks that I spoke to at the beginning of last week and the week before that we were quoting rates in the mid-3s, low-4s on various different programs, and it could be that if we have another day like Friday, those rates are gone. Now, my projection and from my experience and expertise, we're going to correct a little bit in the next 3-4 trading sessions, and that'll be your opportunity to go ahead and lock in one of those strong rates. But if you haven't gotten started with a mortgage professional, again, if you have some questions, call us, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. We'll get you the information that you really need, and we're going to see some more information coming up this next week. Now, last week was supposed to be a quiet week after that trifecta the week before with the Fed meeting and the elections and all that, and jobless claims. Last week was supposed to be quiet, and we saw, this kind of chaos. So really make a decision if you want to do what's in the best interest of your family, and now is the time that you really need to do that. We'll be back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel coming up right after a couple of minutes of some information from our sponsors. We're going to be talking with Melinda, Christine, and John, talking again about stripping in the federal courts, and it's legal. Some fun facts for Thanksgiving. We're going to even try and get to a few of the emails we've been receiving at realestatewithron.com. Remember, to reach me at any time, call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or realestatewithron.com. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few.
Father gets up late for work. Mother has to iron his shirt. Then she sends the kids to school. Sees them off with a small kiss. She's the one they're going to miss in lots of ways.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestatewithron.com for more info. That's realestatewithron.com.
Have you been to car dealers only to be disappointed by their small inventory? That's not the case at Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa. The Connell family has been serving the community for well over 40 years. Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa wants to buy your car or truck. That's right. Go to ConnellNissan.com to receive your estimated value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's CONNELL Nissan.com. Or better yet, take the 405 freeway, Harbor Boulevard exit, go south towards the beach about 1 mile to Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa.
Real Estate Radio is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Ron Siegel. The purpose of this show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in Southern California, Ron Siegel can help. Call Ron directly at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Take advantage of speaking with Ron anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Ron Siegel today and you'll be glad you did. 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or you can visit realestatewithron.com for more info. Reverse mortgages are loans against the equity of a senior American's home. With a reverse mortgage, the homeowner can convert their home equity into cash. It also benefits homeowners in many other ways. With most types of the loans, the lender verifies your income and uses that figure to determine the amount you'll be able to pay. You don't have to satisfy the monthly repayments with a reverse mortgage. Homeowners over the age of 62 years may apply for a reverse mortgage, even without any income. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit realestatewithron.com and click the free workshop button.
Are you using retirement money to pay bills? If you are, you're burning your future. You can eliminate debt and save your retirement through bankruptcy. I'm John Greifendorff, founder of Greifendorff Law Offices, and we can help you. Call us today, 1-800-861-0786. That's 1-800-861-0786. Or find us on the web at Banco Law. That's BANCOLaw.com. We are a debt relief agency helping people file under the bankruptcy code.
Have you asked your employer what kind of home mortgage benefits your company offers? Cal Home Benefits has a complete range of home and mortgage benefits, which can save you $5,000 to $10,000 on your living expenses, and the benefit program is completely free to California businesses and groups. If your company or group is not offering home and mortgage benefits, please visit calhomebenefits.com or call 1-800-998-1990. That's 1-800-998-1990. It's free to the organization and can save you thousands.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel on the Real Estate Radio Network. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. That's my message, and I'll be delivering it every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on KLAA AM 830 in association with ESPN. And before we get to our conversation, or continuing our conversation, this Veterans Day weekend, we really need to take a second. And that's why I asked Jeremy and Gabe to play that little clip for us and think about all of the men and women who are out fighting for our country, who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and so we can be free, and we can actually sit here in these beautiful studios and talk about our own homes and buying homes and selling homes in the greatest country in this world. And we all do owe a big thank you, a heartfelt thank you to our men and women in uniform.
Absolutely.
So joining me on today's expert panel is John Greifendorff and Christine Wilton of the Greifendorff Law Offices.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you.
And our featured guest, Melinda Johnson of Freedom First Properties. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me back on.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
And we've been talking about where interest rates have been going recently in these turbulent markets. And we've also going to talk a little bit about stripping in the federal courts and the legal and good way of doing it.
What?
And as you're aware, Ron Siegel's Real Talk is not only designed to educate, but to entertain Southern California. And the best place to start is a real story of how we've helped someone. Please be sure that if you know of anyone that ever has any real estate questions, give them our number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. We're going back to some of the conversations we had just before we came on air this morning. There's a lot of, we're now in what we call this sandwich generation. And it's where, as us tweeners are looking after our parents and our kids all at the same time. And some of the stories that I want to share with you this past week or two has been in some of the senior communities where we've been able to go in and kids are actually purchasing properties for their parents, and the special programs that are out there that will allow the kids to do that without having to use a second home or investment pricing on their loans. And that kind of brought me to a story again that I saw that came out from Steve at the KCMblog.com. And it's talking about your loan officer, a leader or paper pusher. And I'm going to coin a new name right here on AM 830. It's called Robo-Officer. And I'm going to share a little story about what I experienced this last week. I went in and was doing some banking, and I'm not going to mention the name of the bank that I was at. But the person, the happy greeter at the front door, greets everybody as they come in, says hello to him. Very, very nice young lady. And I'm standing in line waiting my turn, and I can overhear her conversation. It's probably about 30 feet away, but I overhear her conversation with a gentleman that comes up and needs some help with his mortgage. And I kind of scratched my head and thought to myself, okay, the person that's doing the greeting at the front door is also the person that is helping this gentleman with his mortgage, and it's in Anaheim Hills. His property value is somewhere around $1.2 million, and she's sharing with him what this bank can do for him. And all they talk about is one program, one option, if he can get his loan value down to $729,000, and she can give him a rate, and she told him what the rate was, and what the points were, and what the fees were going to be. And that was pretty much the extent of the conversation. And it dawned on me that's robo-officer. And the reason I say robo-officer is because I've been a proponent, if you've listened to our show at any length of time, that you can find some great information on the internet, but you really don't know its accuracy. You need professional, trusted advice. And I know my oldest son, has been looking at getting a job, and one of his friends did get a job at a local bank. And I'm thinking to myself, nice young guys, third year of college. And I think back to my third year of college. And being that I'm the only non-attorney here, I only went to 4 years of school. Everyone else here had to do a lot more schooling than me. But do any of you think that you would have been the qualified person to help somebody with their largest debt they have in your third year of college?
In a word, no.
Absolutely not.
Well, maybe by today's standards, I'm qualified. At third year of college, that's who they hire.
Okay, yeah. I mean, figure third year of college. They never asked the question, does this person have kids in college? Is he saving for college? Is he planning on being in his property for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Does he want a fixed-rate mortgage? Maybe he wants a 10-year fixed-rate mortgage. Maybe he wants a 15-year fixed-rate fully amortized mortgage. Maybe he wants a 30-year. What I'm saying is you need that whole process should be about a 30-minute discussion. I would be, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a doctor, so I don't have to have malpractice insurance. But if I gave somebody an answer to a "what's your rate" question after a 30-second discussion, I should be nailed for malpractice. I need to understand more about what someone's long and short-term goals and objectives are, and then think about what we call outside-the-box thinking. And again, this is part of what Steve's comment was. Maybe we needed to do a first and a second to solve this gentleman's problem. Maybe we needed to do a home ownership accelerator to solve his desires to lower his interest rates. So I just want to let you know that we can't just answer some of these things in a second or two. And professional advice, that's what it's all about. And I want to get into more professional advice. And I've got some great attorneys in studio with us today. And I just saw this information. It just hit me, and that's why I've been sharing with you professionally stripping in the federal courts. John and Christine are both bankruptcy attorneys here locally and are great friends of the show. I highly recommend them. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into their full backgrounds because I want to get some information to you. We've talked about their backgrounds, but I want you to hear what their message is about real estate. And Christine, I want you to share with us, if you would, about... And I don't want you to take offense, John, but I really don't care about you stripping.
Yeah, you picked me intentionally.
That's right.
Sorry, John.
So maybe Christine will share with us what this means about lien stripping in the federal courts.
Well, lien stripping as it applies through bankruptcy.
Okay.
Under Chapter 13, we take an undersecured property, and if there is a second mortgage on that property, where the value of the property is equal to or less than the amount they owe on the first mortgage, we can effectively, the technical legal term, of course, is avoiding the lien. However, the common term on the streets is this lien stripping. We remove the lien from the property, thus creating an unsecured credit or debt to that debtor, and we put that into a Chapter 13 plan where they make payments over time. The Chapter 13 obviously being the restructuring bankruptcy.
Okay.
Once their plan is complete and they obtain the discharge in bankruptcy, that lien is forever gone from that property.
Interesting. Now, what kind of tax consequences are we going to see with that, John?
What's discharged in bankruptcy isn't taxable.
It's not taxable?
No.
No tax liability.
So we don't have to worry when about the 1099 coming?
Nope.
Wow, so now let's compare that, because I know if you're a talk radio junkie like I am, I listen all day long to, if you've got $10,000 in debt, you can pay me a lot of money and you probably won't settle your debt problem. So let's talk about those commercials that we hear all the time. Because I've heard that there's somewhere around 90% of the time that doesn't work. Is that true?
90% of the time it will fail. John?
Oh, I agree with that. The numbers I hear are anywhere from 77 on the optimistic side to 90% failure rates, but that's not very good.
Okay, and then from what I understand, you're paying them up front, right?
You are.
Okay, and
not only for your debts, but for their fees.
Okay, pay them for their fees, okay.
And whatever they negotiate.
Now, what is the success rate using bankruptcy?
100%.
100%?
Well, if they complete the program.
If they complete the okay, I like that. Well, so it's up to me whether I can.
Completion.
So it's up to me as to whether I can solve the problem or not.
Ron, it's all about the package. When you prepare a case in Chapter 13, preparation is everything.
Okay,
for those who prepare well, the success rate is very high. For those that are not well prepared, the success rate is very low.
So now let me ask you this question, and I'm going to ask either John or Christine. If I were to be going online and finding my, or in my neighborhood, Melinda, you're in the same neighborhood that I am, mm-hmm. We see those yellow signs outside that say you can file your own bankruptcy and we'll help you for, I think, $795 or $7.95 or something like that. Do you guys know if that paperwork has any information about this lien stripping?
I think they're not even facilitating Chapter 13s. I would strongly discourage anyone entering into Chapter 13 to go into a Chapter 13 bankruptcy without representation of an attorney.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
it's too complicated.
So even though I can do it, go and find those papers online, I probably shouldn't do it myself.
Right. You would be held responsible for all of the federal rules, the local rules, and knowing your judge and trustee.
Oh, knowing the judge and so I have to know all these guys?
Oh, yes.
And you guys know them already, right?
Correct.
So
we have long ongoing relationships.
Can I meet them online?
No.
You can't meet them online either.
I don't believe the judges have Facebook pages yet.
Now, I've got a note here that came to me through our initial our conversations getting ready for this. And we got to get the truth on this, John.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Something about bankruptcy really doesn't do anything, and it says to talk to John.
Well, thanks for asking, Ron. Yeah, bankruptcy doesn't do anything. It is an equity proceeding, by which I mean it's balancing rights and balancing equities. Bankruptcy fundamentally hasn't changed for centuries. When you're asking a trustee to organize your assets, to take that which is not exempt, sell it, pay creditors, in exchange for that, you get out of debt.
So now, I think I remember correctly from our first conversation, bankruptcy is actually something that is guaranteed to us through the Constitution, right?
Well, no. What Constitution states is that Congress has the power to make bankruptcy laws, but not the obligation. There could be none, and at one time there was none.
So Congress has given us that right so we can actually get a fresh start.
Exactly.
Right. It eliminates your legal obligation to pay the debt.
Interesting, and that's done through Congress and not through the guys on the radio that are saying you can call me if you have $10,000 in credit card debt or more or something.
Well, they're trying to make a living, Ron.
And something, I can certainly understand that. And we're going to let our sponsors do that as well. So you're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with Ron Siegel, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Melinda, Christine, John, and I are going to keeps talking about these stripping in the federal courts. We've got some fun Thanksgiving facts that's coming up. We might even get to some emails. Remember to reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or realestateradio.com. Connect with us on Facebook as well. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few.
She's the one they're going to miss in lots of ways.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.com for more info. That's realestateradio.com.
Ron Siegel here from Real Estate Radio with attorneys Christine Wilton and John Greifendorff. John, when should people file for bankruptcy?
Ron, people should file for bankruptcy before they spend their money to pay bills they may never pay off. Money is not personal, it's business. Your family's money is your business, and your job is to preserve it. That's your commitment. Bankruptcy is a powerful tool that allows people to eliminate their debts, regain control, and get a fresh start. That's why our founding fathers included bankruptcy in the Constitution.
Christine, why should we use bankruptcy instead of debt settlement or other services to stop the nagging phone calls?
We stop the phone calls immediately. It works for everyone, every
every time, where debt settlement fails over 90% of the time. Through bankruptcy, we get your family the fresh start you deserve and the Constitution grants.
To get the fresh start your family deserves, call Christine or John at 800-861-0786. That's 800-861-0786, or on the web at bancolaw.com. That's BANCO law.com. Determining the truth about reverse mortgages is not easy. You need to be educated on the program so that you can make the best decision for your personal situation. Basically, if you get a reverse mortgage, you'll be getting a loan that will allow you to have a monthly income coming in, or a large lump sum at once, or a credit line. You can get any combination of these things as well. If you have an existing loan, it will be paid off so you will not have a house payment. The monthly income you receive from the reverse mortgage is guaranteed, and you will receive it as long as you remain living in the home. Regardless of the length of your life, your debt can never be more than the worth of your home. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit realestateradio.com and click the free workshop button.
Have you been to car dealers only to be disappointed by their small inventory? That's not the case at Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa. The Connell family has been serving the community for well over 40 years. Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa wants to buy your car or truck. That's right. Go to ConnellNissan.com to receive your estimated value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's CONNELL Nissan.com. Or better yet, take the 405 freeway, Harbor Boulevard exit, go south towards the beach about 1 mile to Connell Nissan in Costa Mesa.
Hi, we're here with Ron Siegel, the host of Real Estate Radio. Ron, welcome to the studio. Give us insight as to what your show is all about.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me that question. The reason we developed Real Estate Radio is right now there is an abundance of misinformation out there. So Real Estate Radio is a show designed to give Southern California a focal point for their real estate knowledge, as well as a place to go just in case they might need anything real estate related.
So how are you helping people?
That's actually pretty simple. People need advice. So it really doesn't matter who you are. If you have any real estate questions, we're here to help. Whether you're buying a home, selling, you're experiencing a loan modification, short sale, foreclosure, there are a lot of things going on in this marketplace.
How can people get a hold of you?
Real easy. All you have to do is call. The number is 1-800-306-1990. Press option 1.
Interesting times in the market right now. Where do you think the markets are going from here?
That's a great question. All I can say is this. The housing market came down one house at a time, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build it one house, one family at a time. So the best thing that anyone can do is access the free advice that we really want to give you. And to do that, you simply need to call me. The number is 1-800-306-1990, option 1. I'd really love to help.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel on the Real Estate Radio Network. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice, and that's my message, and I keep delivering it every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on KLAA AM 830 in association with ESPN. Again, on today's guest expert panel, co-host John Greifendorff and Christine Wilton of the Greifendorff Law Offices. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're so glad to be here.
And our featured guest, Melinda Johnson of Freedom First Properties. Good morning, Melinda.
Good morning, Ron.
And this segment is being brought to you by Connell Nissan. These guys are so friendly, good, and reliable. I take my cars to Mark at Connell Nissan and Clint at Connell Chevy when they need servicing. You can find them on the web at ConnellNissan.com or ConnellChevy.com. Tell them that Ron Siegel sent you. You'll be just as pleased with their service as I am. And now we're going to get into some real estate, and we're going to chat a little bit further with Melinda on real estate. We've got a couple of different issues I want to really dive into this week. And again, it goes back to our same theme we've been talking about with Melinda Melinda and I share a lot of the conversations about professionals and the need for using a professional. And Melinda's been doing this for a long time. Melinda's probably one of the few people that I know that got into real estate, and the transaction size in real estate is probably smaller for Melinda than in your prior life, isn't it, Melinda?
Radically so.
One of the few people, and I tell people all the time here, real estate is generally, and for most of us, it's our largest asset. The mortgage is our largest liability or debt.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your background, though, Melinda, because that's pretty fascinating.
Well, prior to doing this, because I joined in on the market when it decided to crash in 2006, I was an attorney, and I had worked in-house counsel for Boeing Capital and worked on very large transactions.
Wow.
Comparative to housing.
Yeah, because I don't think you can. Well, we talk about houses, and you talk in the, in the Southern California area, 250,000 on the low side, and some of the bigger properties, 5-10 million. I know there's some more, but I don't think you can buy a plane for that, can you?
No. Some of our transactions were in the $75 million range. Woo. So to say I'm comfortable with the price point is
absolutely
an accurate statement.
So when you were at Boeing Capital, they figured that they needed professional advice. They didn't get their advice online, did they?
No, they didn't.
So they used professional advice, and I'm looking at again from my buddy Steve Harney talking about 5 reasons you should use a real estate professional. And in this market, I don't think you can ever turn on the news and hear at any given time anybody saying anything about this being, just the norm of the marketplace. This year, we've all seen exactly what's going on now before, right? I mean, it's this is, I think most of us will have heard over and over again that this is a very, very unique time in economics in the U.S.
Yes. Absolutely. It's very interesting times, and interesting times create interesting opportunities.
And if that's the case, then if I was looking to sell my house, where would it be the best place? I'm going to ask this, Melinda, where would be the best place for me to get a good pricing information if I want to sell my house?
Well, contacting a professional to start with. Pricing is critical in this market. You've got to look at not only the overall California market, but you got to look at what's going on in that particular local market, because all real estate for the most part is local. So you want to bring in someone who's a professional and someone who knows the area and has the background and the resources. In our company, one of the things we offer for our clients is an in-house appraiser, so that we make sure that our pricing is truly spot on for our clients.
That's very interesting, and kind of ironically enough, the number one reason on this list, and I never showed this list to Melinda, the number one item on the list of 5 reasons you should use a real estate professional, number one was pricing.
Yep.
It's because you just can't know. I mean, I can tell you in our office just this last week, we had 2 different transactions come through where the appraisals did not meet what the pricing was, and this was a buyer and seller agreeing, and both of them were represented by different agents. Yet the appraisal didn't agree with either one of those people. So pricing right now is unbelievably important. We spoke earlier about the fact that we really need to be, now is the time. If you want to get a property, I would say if you're looking to sell your house, if you're thinking about selling your house, you need to act now. You shouldn't be thinking about it right now, because there are, according to S&P, 41 months worth of inventory sitting in the banks right now ready to be sold. And they'll probably bring that out because everybody says spring is the best time to sell. So number 2, Melinda, we're going to go on this list because I haven't shared it with you, but I want you to expand upon this one. Negotiating ability is crucial. Number 2 on the real estate professional list.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you can be penny wise and pound foolish sometimes in not consulting a professional, because you may think you're getting the advantage in there without a professional helping you, but that may be the very person who could significantly negotiate your price down. So to go in without a professional, I think actually puts you, can cost you in the long run.
Okay, so there we go. That's number 1 and number 2. You need pricing. You need to be able to negotiate. And one of the nice things that I love doing when I talk to people about using great agents. Now, in this month, when at the National Association of Realtors, Steve made a comment. He was actually a keynote speaker twice. He said, since 2007, we've really washed out a lot of people that shouldn't have been in the industry, both in the mortgage industry and the real estate industry. All that's really left now is good and great professionals. And his comment was the good ones may not make it, which is a pretty powerful statement. And again, I've long said that I only bring what I consider great agents on this show. And again, you can reach me 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, and anywhere in the Southland, I'll put you in touch with a great agent. But you need that pricing. You need to be able to negotiate. Number 3 on this list, mortgaging is key to the deal. The biggest impact of the housing market, again, according to this blog, a biggest impact of housing market collapse is that lending standards are much stricter today than they were a few short years ago. Rules are constantly changing. Even FHA has gone through a guidelines overhaul in the last several months. You need a real estate expert who has teamed up with a knowledgeable mortgage professional to make sure that the buyer in the deal is in fact capable of obtaining a mortgage. Why go through all the issues of pricing your property properly, negotiating, and then finding out that you can't close the deal with that no one can finance it? Kind of an interesting thing. Now, number 4, your family's safety. Now, this is something that just baffles me in our society. I mean, agents, no one even thinks about this part about the agents. It's kind of an interesting scenario. They're meeting people in many instances that they don't know to bring them into a home of somebody else. And you really need to who are you going to trust to come and show your house? So,
and we have some of the technology out there, the lock boxes that they use these days, that can actually tell us, who came into the house, what time they came into the house, and what agent brought them into the house. And those are just additional, physical safety factors that you can't get without using a real estate professional.
And if you found a great professional to do that, they're going to lock your house when they're done and take care of your possessions like they are their own. So those are an common thing that you really need to look at. Number 5, we're in the holidays. I mean, think about it already. We're at Thanksgiving next week, the holidays, New Year's. Amazing. Do you have anything better to do than show your home? There's all the parties and fun stuff going on. Now, kind of funny, after Steve did this, he was exposed a little bit. And Steve's a big guy, so you really don't want Steve being exposed, but number 6 out of this top 5 was exposure to potential purchasers. We don't think about that. Now, Melinda, you probably get people calling you. I know you do advertising tons, so people are calling you to look for properties?
Absolutely. And it goes both ways. We may have potential buyers for people who are looking to sell, and I definitely have potential sellers, people who aren't putting their house on the market, who would if the right person came along. So often it's the contacts that make a difference. I was telling Ron a little bit earlier today, that we are in escrow on a house in South Orange County right now that wasn't on the market, but I had buyers and we were able to match them up without a property that was actually listed.
That's the power of using a professional. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a break here in just a second, but I want you to know we're going to get the Wall Street Journal to chime in on the other side of the story about buying. So you're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with Ron Siegel, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Melinda, Christine, John, and I are going to be speaking about the Wall Street Journal's comments here. Might even try and get to some of the emails that are coming into realestateRadiowithRon.com. Remember to reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or realestateRadiowithRon.com. Connect with us on Facebook. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few.
Mother has to iron his shirt, then she sends the kids to school, sees them off with a small kiss. She's the one they're going to miss in lots of ways.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateRadiowithRon.com for more info. That's realestateRadiowithRon.com.
Reverse mortgages are loans against the equity of a senior American's home. With a reverse mortgage, the homeowner can convert their home equity into cash. It also benefits homeowners in many other ways. With most types of loans, the lender verifies your income and uses that income to determine the amount you'll be able to pay. You don't have to satisfy the monthly repayments with a reverse mortgage. Homeowners over the age of 62 years may apply for a reverse mortgage even without any income. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit realestateradio.com and click the free workshop button.
Have you asked your employer what kind of home mortgage benefits your company offers? Cal Home Benefits has a complete range of home and mortgage benefits, which can save you $5,000 to $10,000 on your living expenses, and the benefit program is completely free to California businesses and groups. If your company or group is not offering home and mortgage benefits, please visit calhomebenefits.com or call 1-800-998-1990. That's 1-800-998-1990. It's free to the organization and can save you thousands. Real Estate Radio is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Ron Siegel. The purpose of this show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in Southern California, Ron Siegel can help. Call Ron directly at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Take advantage of speaking with Ron anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Ron Siegel today and you'll be glad you did. 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or you can visit realestatewithron.com for more info.
This is Mark Renaro, GM of Connell Nissan Costa Mesa, with some great news. We've just reduced the price of our new and pre-owned inventory. The reduced price is clearly posted on the vehicle and our website, connellnissan.com. Get the very best value on your next purchase without the car guy haggle. This includes those hard-to-find Altimas, Maximas, Murano, Rogue, and even the GTR. We're conveniently located just 1 mile south of the 405 on Harbor Boulevard. Visit us at connellnissan.com. Connell Nissan, family-owned, 46 years, is the #1 GTR dealer in the USA.
Are you a homeowner facing foreclosure? Do you need a plan to save your home? My name is Christine Wilton. I'm co-founder of the Greifendorff Law Offices. Bankruptcy has a plan that puts you in control. Call us today at 1-800-861-0786. That's 1-800-861-0786. Or on the web at bancolaw.com. That's BANCO law.com. We're a debt relief agency helping people file under the bankruptcy code.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Ron Siegel on the Real Estate Radio Network. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. That's my message, and I'll be delivering it every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on AM 830. Again, welcome our co-hosts, John Greifendorff and Christine Wilton of the Greifendorff Law Offices. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our featured guest, Melinda Johnson of Freedom First Properties. Good morning.
Good morning, Ron.
Thank you for joining me, everyone. And this segment is being brought to you by MyRateTrack.com. If you want a personalized mortgage checkup at any time, just go to MyRateTrack.com. Enter your specific information, and the system will immediately generate an 8-page mortgage checkup for you. It's totally free when you enter your name, Ron, R-O-N, as the promo code. And I look over every one of those personally to make sure that we're getting all the right information to you. And it gives you, again, about 7 or 8 different options or opportunities within that. We're going to get back to now the opposite side. We talked a little bit in the last segment about all the reasons why it's so important, if you're looking to sell your property, to do it now and to do it at a compelling price and talk to a professional. But on the early middle of September, we got some great information came out from a few different areas, and these are the experts of this marketplace. We had a comment from John Paulson, who actually made about $4 billion for his hedge fund, stating, and this came out on the 27th of September, his quote was, "If you don't own a home, buy one. If you own one home, buy another one. If you own two homes, buy a third and lend your relatives the money to buy a home. Telling you that now is the time to buy. The Wall Street Journal, and this one, Melinda, you and I were just chatting about this during the break. Enough with the doom and gloom about home ownership.
Oh, I spend so much of my time dispelling some of the myths that are out there and continue to be portrayed by the media.
Well, we know about the mainstream media, and we do have a present for them. Get off that doom and gloom. Let's talk about the great country that we live in. The Wall Street Journal, September 16th, 2010. Join me on these, all of my guests here. Join me on these things. You can get a good deal.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Melinda, you're out there mostly. Are there any bargains out there?
Oh, there are some fantastic opportunities out there with short sales, with foreclosures, and even with standard sales. If you compare them to what you were paying, 3 or 4 years ago, they're fantastic deals. And the added benefit to that is not only do you get them at a lesser price, but then your property tax basis starts lower as well. So, us being a Prop 13 state,
thank goodness,
that's a fantastic thing that can really save you over the years.
And then what's most important, very few people are going to deal with pricing of a house. I mean, talk about a house, $500,000, $750,000, $200,000, million, big numbers. It's about the cost of that on a monthly basis. Mortgages are cheap right now.
Yeah, interest rates should truly be motivating people. Your introduction when we started the show, going over the volatility of interest rates, and I think people overall are familiar with the volatility in our economy right now. Take advantage of those interest rates, and I think they should get in contact with you quickly because the opportunity may be limited.
Over the years, we've also looked at the numbers of how much we save as a society in this country. The number 8 item on the Wall Street Journal's list of 10 here, forced savings. Now that we're back in this environment of amortizing loans instead of negative amortizing loans and appreciation of the property, if you're buying property, it's on sale right now. You're actually saving some money there too. Now, number 9, all real estate is local. So throughout the country, the number 9 is probably more prevalent. Melinda will chat about this one also. Number 9 says there's a lot to choose from. But I think out there right now in the marketplace, I'm hearing from the agents I talk to that there's some challenges in finding properties.
Yeah, it's competitive out there right now. That's one of the biggest myths that I'm constantly dispelling is that there are no buyers out there. To the contrary, there are a lot of buyers out there. I had buyers who made an offer on a property about a month ago, and there were 35 bids in.
Wow.
And the house was priced very close to market. It wasn't a tremendous deal relative to the current market, but it was well done and well presented, and the interest that was out there was phenomenal. So
did that property sell above the list price?
It did, just slightly.
Okay,
about
so
$5,000 over. I mean, very slightly.
And that's a key thing. When we had a guest on here a few weeks ago talking about that property is going to move to the market will move the property to the right price. So don't worry about pricing your house too low. If it's too low, what's going to happen is just what Melinda just said. You're going to get a lot of offers.
Yeah, there are highly educated buyers out there with the online information that's out there and the estimates that are out there. Buyers are educated. So if your property is priced very, very low, the buyers will find you and find you quickly.
New York Times, September 1st op-ed piece. Carl Case of the Case-Shiller Index. And I don't know how many people know Carl Case, but he comes out with pricing information. They do a lot of studies on that. The title of the article was A Dream House After All. And I'll just give you one quick passage. It means having a solid and fairly safe long-term investment that is coupled with the satisfaction of owning the house they live in. That dream is still alive. For people with a realistic version of the American dream, buying a house now can make a lot of sense. And we talked about this once before. Pricing appreciation in Orange County since 1988 up 5.4% over those years. So we know that the price is there if you're looking at long term. So now is the time. And talking about time, it looks like our time here with you is just about running out. And it was a great show today. Thank you to our co-hosts John Greifendorff and Christine Wilton of the Greifendorff Law Offices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to our featured guest, Melinda Johnson of Freedom First Properties.
Oh, thank you, Ron. It's a pleasure to be on.
Thank you to all our sponsors, and of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your morning with us. A very special thank you, to Jeremy Lee and Gabe Alcantara, who make me sound good every week. Next show, we're going to be discussing an amazing equestrian estate, Blenheim Farms, right here in Southern California. That's all for Ron Siegel's Real Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or realestateradio.com. Stay tuned for the Men's Dugout with Tara Grace. Have a great week, SoCal. Talk to you next week right next Sunday on AM 830. Remember, if you aim for nothing, you will achieve nothing. And we've got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. I want to give you a quick, I forgot to mention this. Anybody go to the website, YouTube, and look up Blenheim Farms. I'm going to give out a gift certificate. Hit me up on our fan page or realestateradio.com. And if you go to and look up the YouTube presentation on Blenheim Farms, the first three people that tell me where Blenheim Farms is located, I'm going to send you a $25 restaurant gift certificate. Put your zip code in there as well. And I'm going to send you a $25 gift certificate for a restaurant. Hopefully we'll find something close to your zip code. Again, I can't urge you enough. Now is the time for refinancing. If you've got a 5 or 6 in your interest rate, call our office, 800-306-1990, and we will do a free mortgage checkup for you and let you know if now is the time that makes sense. Have a great week, SoCal.
In the middle of our streets, our house. In the middle of our...
The preceding was a paid program. Opinions expressed are those of the program sponsor.